guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tatum Temia. I'm the host of the Blessed and Bossed Up podcast and the CEO of Anchor Media. So let's talk about entrepreneurship. We talked about in a few other videos the secrets to success. Now I want to talk about a skill set that every entrepreneur needs to have, and that skill is called negotiating. Simply put, a negotiation is defined as a discussion that's aimed at reaching an agreement. And there's actually a statistic that says 40% of adults in the United States don't feel confident in their negotiation skills. That ain't gonna fly when it comes to entrepreneurship. And let me tell you something, there's one thing that Tatum Temia Ayomi ain't gonna do is negotiate. Okay? And as an entrepreneur, never, I'm gonna give you a quick little tip, never take the first deal. Everything is a negotiation. There's been many a times where I've worked with people and I always negotiate them down because that's just what I do, trying to save money at all times. So I'll be like, okay, why don't we do it for this amount or whatever, and they just take it. Or if I'm offering something, I'll offer usually lower than what I'm willing to do, and they never negotiate. I've done that sometimes with hiring or with hiring like for contractors or anything like that, and I'm like, why didn't they counter? Why did they just take that offer? And in that particular discussion, I'm going to negotiate for what's the best for me at that moment. I can't look out for you and me at the same time. But after the fact, I always say, like, you should have did XYZ. Why didn't, and I always think to myself, like, why didn't they negotiate that? Why did they take that first deal? And so I don't think it's discussed enough in the online entrepreneurship world, the art of negotiation. Now, a couple of tips in addition to negotiate everything. So that's rule. Negotiate everything, never take the first offer. Everything is a discussion. In order to effectively negotiate, you need to understand the person that you're talking to and understanding yourself and what you bring to the table. You also need to understand who you're talking to, what their values are, and what's going to get them to move in whatever direction that you want them to go. And so, for example, we did a presentation recently where I was pitching to a company for us to develop a podcast for them. Now, me going into any type of conversation, you don't just go straight into talking. A big part of sales is listening. If you're talking more than you listen, you're already on the wrong foot when it comes to sales. So when it came to this conversation, I had to pitch, you know, our company and us doing a podcast for them. And so before we got into talking, I'm like, so what do you do for the company? So I learned about the person and what their role is in the organization. I'm like, okay, so what are y'all goals right now as it relates to online branding and marketing? They tell me, okay, and I'm writing it down. So right now, what are you guys doing to achieve that goal? They tell me right now, okay, what are some of like the roadblocks and things that you guys are having? They tell me, I'm writing that down, okay. And so when I go into the presentation, I'm not just reading my slides or talking about whatever it is I want to talk about. I know what we bring to the table, but I need to make sure that I'm presenting what we bring in a way that is most relevant to them and their goals, and letting them know not only do they need to hire us, but they need to move on this quickly so their problems can be solved. Go through the presentation, it goes great. After we're done, of course, I say my price. They come back, this is expensive. I was like, I know. And so they say, this is a lie. This is more than we expected to spend. I said, well, tell me this. When we first started talking, you told me how, you know, you guys didn't have XYZ going on, and this is what you're currently doing as it relates to reaching your consumer and increasing the leads that you have coming in. But right now, you're saying that your conversion rate is this based off of who you're reaching and how that converts over into who's actually calling. So, and you want to make that increase. So if you don't hire us to do XYZ, how are you going to reach that goal? And they were like, yeah. Because based on our preliminary conversation, this is your goal. You haven't been able to reach it. You don't really know where else to go to solve it. You were referred to us, and so that's why you're here. And so I know what we bring to the table. We went through all of this, but listening is always going to put you in a good position to make sure you effectively negotiate. So those will be my tips, and I'm gonna keep it brief because I know sometimes it could be like confusing if you talk too much about certain business things. So I just want to keep it super simple. Make sure that you negotiate everything, all the time. Never take the first offer. Understand your audience or who you're speaking to. Make sure you know what you bring to the table, and ask more questions and listen more than you speak, and use what your person has communicated their needs are in whatever it is that your discussions are, if that makes sense. So that's it for this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, YouTube lingo, all of that, and I'll see you in the next one.